the unofficial end of summer, and now we are into the unofficial fall season. Of course, we've got a lot going on with local elections here in Washington State this year, culminating in the November general election. But there's a lot going on leading up to that November election. Just today, in the last few days, our current governor, Mr. Ferguson, has been trying to do a little bit of blame shifting. He held a press conference where he tried to focus his ire and anxiety to tariffs, and of course, by extension, blame the president for current economic troubles here in Washington State. The governor was able to get some numbers that he had crafted by his budget staff at the Office of Financial Management, OFM, a state agency that operates under the governor's office. They work for him. The staff at OFM are diligent observers and analysts of the economy. They draft the budgets, governor, whoever the governor might be, but they are definitely the governor's team. And so when the governor cited the OFM report on tariffs, he talked about them as being independent and nonpartisan. Not really true. OFM works for the governor, and depending on who the governor is, OFM is more or less partisan. Lately, pretty partisan. Nevertheless, the governor pointed at tariffs and brought in a few business people who are worried that they might be affected negatively by tariffs. Concerns. Tariffs are an issue that has to be handled delicately, carefully. As I've said before, I think the president is doing a pretty good job of using tariffs as a tool for renegotiating the nation's trade agreements with different parts of the world. But tariffs are always a sharp sword. You have to use it carefully. But the whole thing, the governor is angry, whining about the president and tariffs, was really designed to shift blame. Coming up later this month, we will have the regular quarterly report from the state's Economic and Revenue Forecast Council. They are a truly independent state agency that looks at economic numbers and makes projections of tax receipts to Olympia, to the state government, based on economic activity in Washington State. And those quarterly reports are important because they help define the budget scenario 1 year, 2 years, and more years out into the future. And that's critical because by state law, our 2-year operating budgets have to have a projected ending fund balance that's a positive budget cycle. There has to be some money left budget that determines a balanced budget. And right now, budget, which clocks in at just under $80 billion for those 2 years, is just on a razor's edge, growing more, and therefore tax receipts coming into a shrinking. That number is likely to go into negative ending fund balance, meaning that the operating budget will not be balanced. It will be out of balance, and the governor will have a budget crisis on his hands. So that's going to happen in a week or so, later this month. The governor did this press conference to whine about tariffs to try to set up in advance an excuse for why his budget is likely to end up out of balance and create a fiscal crisis in Olympia. That's what this tariffs and Trump press conference was about. Don't be fooled. The issues we face with our budgets and our fiscal house in Olympia, they're Bob Ferguson's doing. Donald Trump has nothing to do with them. To U.S. senators, Patty, Western District and an Eastern District. So we have 2 U.S. attorneys, one for each district. Pete Serrano, whom many of you know, ran for state attorney general, longtime successful mayor of Pasco down in the Tri-Cities, has been nominated by President Trump to be U.S. Attorney for the eastern portion of our state. Serrano is a very popular guy in eastern Washington, a good, solid, conservative guy, constitutionalist, and a great lawyer. Been running the Silent Majority Foundation, a nonprofit, conservative-leaning law firm for several years now. Been involved in a number of high-profile constitutional rights cases. So Serrano's a great fit for Eastern Washington to be the U.S. Attorney there. The president has nominated him, and Serrano is serving. He took the job, is in the job on a 120-day temporary basis. That's very normal. During that period, presidential appointees are often has to confirm them, and then they're permanently in the position. So it's on the 120-day basis. But now Murray says she's going to try to block his confirmation. Not good, Senator Murray. Misreading the room. You may not like Serrano's politics, but Eastern Washington does. And you're not doing your job of representing the people of Eastern Washington by trying to block their favorite son to be U.S. Attorney. We are going to take action on this matter. Starting next week, the WAGOP is going to support a letter writing and email campaign, not just to Senator Murray, but to all 100 U.S. senators back in Washington, D.C., telling them that this parliamentary maneuver that Murray is trying to make to block Serrano's confirmation is an antiquated, unjust trick, and that we don't want her to hide behind this antiquated and unjust trick. We want the Senate to confirm Pete Serrano as U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Washington. We will have more information that we'll disseminate early next week with the contacts and form letters that you can write either as an email or as an old-fashioned letter to all 100 U.S. senators. We want all of them to know where we stand in support of Pete Serrano for U.S. Attorney's nasty little trick she's trying to play. It's her staff, but they're putting her up to it. And lastly, on a more positive note, this week we are releasing the details of the WAGOP's project to support common sense conservative people running for school boards all around the state, all around Washington. Now, we started this project 2 years ago when we backed 36 common sense conservative school board candidates, and 32 of them were elected. This year, we're expanding the program and supporting over 80 candidates around the state and helping them with each candidate's different with what they need. Sometimes it's some fundraising help, sometimes talking points and flyers, sometimes it's yard signs and things for each candidate. But we're helping 82 candidates around the state who are common sense conservatives, officially nonpartisan, endorse the candidates, but we support them, we help them, and we vetted conservatives, and they will help return our K-12 education focus in this state to reading, writing, math, and hard sciences, not the political indoctrination that people like Chris Reichel, the woe-begone state school superintendent, is stumbling around the state trying to promote. We like common sense people who help kids get a good start in life by knowing how to read, write, do math, and understand hard science. That's what a basic education, a high-quality basic education is all about. So as fall approaches, a lot going on. We're going to get behind Pete Serrano and help him get confirmed as U.S. Attorney for Eastern Washington, and we are going to help 80-plus solid conservatives get elected to school boards around Washington. That's what the WAGOP is doing this fall. I hope you will join us. Until next week, be well and stay strong.